Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow, take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
In less than 48 hours, I won't be here. I'll be there. Whatever the fuck is going on with this weather, whatever is just trying to kill me here in Las Vegas, I am going to be 260 some odd miles away from it in beautiful San Diego for Comic-Con. I can smell it from here. Ray is already down there on the ground. It's beautiful. It makes with whatever this flash flood warning I just got, like I needed that. Like my fairy godmother said, what does William need today? Flash flood warning. Well, he'll love that. Doesn't matter. Once I get on the plane, once I head west, this whole city could wash away. I don't care. It makes it easier not to come back. All right, welcome to a semi-overnighter. Difference between one of those and a Midnight Express and everything else is we have topics tonight. We will be going over the Joker trailer, and the only other thing that involves me as a wrestling fan and as somebody who's kind of connected with WBD is it looks like they will be extending the contract, the television rights to AEW, which is a big deal. I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. Tonight's sponsor is somebody I'm going to be doing a lot of business with, and that's hooking us up for Comic-Con. Essential Sequential, that's who's Ray is working with right now. They got a lot of cool stuff. I saw some of the stuff today while she was setting up. Before I even leave the booth, I'm probably going to be spending money. They got cool stuff. They got autograph stuff. They got custom stuff, commission stuff. Like that right there. I mean, I might not make it out of their booth before I spend quite a bit of money. For the store, though, not for me, because I don't buy things for me. These belts you see behind you, you don't see. But they got a bunch of cool stuff, and I am going to become a regular customer of these guys. I mean, they got a lot of cool stuff. And to be honest with you, the prices are really good for what it is. Vampirella. These are things I've been having a hard time getting since everything split up from Diamond. But the stuff they have is some of it's exclusive to them. So I am going to drop a link in the chat. Word, come on, got too many screens. So you guys can take a look. Like I said, pretty good, very good prices. And I am. Oh, by the way, here's Brad.
Okay. And by the way, while William is there, I'll still be here. But I'll be here while I'm going to be there when we get there and next Comic-Con. I'll definitely very much want to join us on the ground for Comic-Con next year. But I'll be holding down the fort here and coordinating with William on all this on just everything we do, covering Comic-Con, and also while he's there, I'll be here.
Jamming up the stream.
Which means that Saturday, he'll be there, and I'll be here.
Yeah.
Which means, look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me.
He's going to accidentally end the stream. He's going to be, hey, William, I think I just ended the stream. I'm going to look at my phone and think, yeah, you probably did, but, I can't help you. I'm hundreds of miles away. So, yeah, check out these guys. Like I said, I will be featuring their stuff on a normal basis. I get to meet them for the very first time Thursday. Going to take a look at what they got. And like I said, my first stop is going to be them. But, yeah, it seemed like a bunch of cool guys. And like I said, this is the kind of stuff I've been trying to get. I do a lot of variants as it is to begin with, but I've really wanted to dive into exclusives and things that you really can't get anywhere else when you're surrounded by Arthur Adams, who will be at their booth, by the way, who's one of my favorite artists of back when I was a kid. I mean, he did a lot of New Mutant stuff. If you Rocket Raccoon, he was the one who helped develop Rocket Raccoon, him and Anna Cinti back in the early 80s. New Mutants, Asgardian Wars, he's top tier, and he's one of the cleanest artists. He has that sparkling effect. Some of these guys, like I said, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to try to interview as many people as I can. They will be at booth. If you are going to be in San Diego, they will be at booth 4601. So their link is in the chat. I'll probably pin it to the description before I leave Vegas. And yeah, essential. That's a lot. There's a lot of Q's there. One Q, but a lot of S's. But essential. There's their website. Take a look at your stuff, grab some stuff, and like I said, I will. I'm going to try to do an interview with the owner of the operation because it's really cool stuff, and that's what I'm going down for. So let's hit the chat in order to say hi to everybody.
Right. Oh, by the way, I should mention also that that wasn't the only DC trailer we got today with Joker 2 trailer. We also got, and I wasn't expecting this because there's going to be a panel for it on the 27th at Comic-Con. We actually got the trailer or the teaser or I guess the initial wave of footage marketing for Superman and Lois season 4. So I was going to play that. I'm going to annoy William with it because they're not even trying to hide what happens in this season anymore.
We don't need to see that today. We're already going to get demonetized on the stream.
For showing.
No, we're already getting demonetized for showing the Joker trailer. I already know because.
How's it going, Aaron? Reyes. Yeah, I was actually wondering. It's like she was on the floor there. Did they let you do that when they're setting up all the booths and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's no surprises. There's no surprises on the exhibit hall.
I get that, but just the idea that they're still kind of setting up shop in there.
Oh, no, you can do it from the moment you walk in. There's been people who set up cameras at their booths so that they could see that you can and they speed it up so that you can do like a time lapse thing. So, and now they've never had any issue. I know a lot of people have done it. I've never seen anybody have an issue with it.
How's it going, Ruth? How's it going, Duck? I mean, Clint. How's it going, RJ? How's it going, Chappie? Droga, what's up, William Brown? I'm drawing Captain Carrot at the moment before we see Ryan Reynolds Wolverine tonight. Okay, please show us Captain Carrot, man. It's a new character to me. Right? Yeah. Is there like a really early showing of a Deadpool Wolverine? Which, by the way, also I really recommend everybody mute it if you want to avoid spoilers because did I get something spoiled for me tonight. I'm not gonna say what it is. Yeah,
don't say what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. You probably already guessed what it may be. I'm not gonna say, but just yeah. I'll say what it was when we've all seen the movie, but no, not tonight.
Yeah, after I would wait till Saturday, to be honest with you, because there's going to be a lot of people who I'm going to go see it Thursday. Me and Ray and Phil I already got our tickets. As soon as we leave night one of Comic-Con, we're headed directly right down the street to the cinema, and we're going to go see it.
I got to work on my lighting here too, because I feel like I'm just so lit up. As my lamp is literally right behind my computer here, so it's like the weight just hits my face. I feel like.
Yeah, you do look a little saturated there. Huh?
Yeah, let me see. Hold on, let me see if I can adjust this real quick. Go ahead and keep talking chat.
All right, let's see. How you doing, Fun? Thank you to Latest Players for hooking me up with the code for the Marvel Rivals code. Okay, no video game talking here.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Right.
We're officially one way away from Deadwood Wolverine opening in theaters, and one day I care about the latter more than I do the former, but I am taking it all in. So, but you will miss the thunderstorms. You don't give a fuck if you're just saying that just to piss me off, because hey, we don't need this shit. You don't know what rain brings for you. Know that. I mean, yeah, and we don't get most of our water. Who cares? I mean, like I said, we'll find a way. Wait, is there already down there, but William's not.
And she put up a video earlier where she's kind of on the dealer's room floor while they're setting up all the booths.
Yeah, she's an exhibitor for the people I just gave you the ad for. She's working with them. I can't be in two places at once. I'm already going to be leaving my store in someone else's hands for 4 days.
You leave your channel in someone else's hands for 4 days.
Just for 2. I mean, just for 1. The majority of the content over the 4 days is going to be sporadically me, but you'll be there. But you're not going to fuck anything up until Saturday afternoon. But like I said, we're going to just be cutting in. If it looks like we only got 4 viewers, we're just going to cut in with some comic.
Just you wait, man. Just you wait. Yeah. It's like this Saturday. I was like, I'm going to get us 10,000 subscribers.
You're not, yeah. Okay. You do. I'm fine. I don't really, like I said, I don't have to suffer whatever you're showing. I will be on the floor. I as soon as I wanted to ever be down at Comic-Con would have been Thursday, because I got to get stuff in on Wednesday. I have a major sale happening at the store that I have to get ready for. We have the comic crawl, which is basically all the stores in the valley are doing sales to get people to hop around in other stores. So I got to get the store ready for that. I have other things that that I got to do. Like I said, leaving the captain's seat for 4 days is dramatic on its own. Doing Tuesday and Wednesday, that just was never, even though I've had access to previews days before, I just, it'll be there when I get there.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Yeah. By the way, also with Rebel Moon, with the extended cuts coming out in about a week and a half here, I guess it's pretty applicable. We do like our spoiler talk and all that. We can actually do the image that Droga did of us, as Rebel Moon characters. I got it right here. I'm gonna bring it up again. This is pretty cool, huh?
What is this?
It's his fan art of you and me as Rebel Moon characters.
Oh, back I saw. Didn't we? Yeah, we saw that. Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking we could plug that in again for when we start doing all of our stuff for Rebel Moon, the extended cuts coming up. So you guys remember this? Me as Cora and William as Jimmy. So you bring it's very fitting to bring that back right in the spotlight when Rebel Moon the extended cuts drop in next Friday. So I think we'll do that.
From what I understand, RJ, at least like say you might be in something different. They never planned that trailer was always supposed to come before.
I was a little bit confused about that because they have a panel and they have the social media has been saying it's like this is the trailer, but we've got other stuff we'll be revealing and showcasing there. So and if the plan all along was to release the trailer during the panel, then they wouldn't have allowed it to leak out like this, because that's like you're cutting off, you're just cutting yourself off the knees that way. So that says to me like, okay, we wanted to kind of get a little bit momentum going before the actual panel, but then they got to share there.
The panel, from what I heard, actually has scenes. The trailer is
William's going to see scenes of this show that I'm a way bigger fan of than he is.
Probably might not be at that panel because.
And he also saw footage from Avatar before I did on Netflix.
But no, the trailer. From what I understand, the trailer's not a big deal. It's the scenes and the actual people that are going to be there for that. But like I said, I'll probably be sleeping doing that, even if I'm at Holly's, because that one's like early in the morning. That one's like 10 a.m. in the morning.
Actually, Fourth has a comment from me here. Brad, throw some diffusion over your light if you can't turn it down or move it like translucent. It just because my lamp used to be right back here on my nightstand right next to my bed, and I was doing some rearranging in my room, recently, and so I put my lamp. It's literally like right behind the right hand corner of my computer here, and then I would start seeing myself on streams. I'm like, man, it's like my face just looks really it's just weird the way the lighting was coming out. I felt like, I was oversaturated. So it's like, I got to adjust the lighting here. Cause that's one thing, and this is, just me coming into my YouTube life, being kind of a rookie, very much a rookie actually, when William first brought me on here is, was lighting plays, it's like, if you really like want to like make your channel look really great, like lighting actually is a pretty big role. And I mean, you probably got some lights right in front of you there.
I got a light above my head, got lights around here, and then when I move over, it's going to be even better. No, that's generally what they've done. Trailers, you can throw trailers up on YouTube. You're not going to waste Comic-Con for that. If you have the people there, what they do, just like when we went to the Rebel Moon thing, or not Rebel Moon, when we went to the Netflix thing, they didn't show us trailers; they showed us scenes. And when we were at Comic-Con last week or last year, they didn't, for what they had, they didn't show you trailers. They showed you scenes. That's, to me, I mean, you're going to gather 6,000 people in there just to watch a trailer. That'd be kind of jip. No, they show scenes. I don't need to. That's not a newsflash. They show scenes and stuff. For Penguin, they're not going to show you a trailer for Penguin. They're going to show you the scenes from Penguin.
RG said. He said that it does open on the 25th. In Australia, so a day or two. Well, I mean, I'm going to see it Thursday night, which is the 25th. So Drogo's talking about seeing it today. So yeah, he's they're like 14 hours ahead of me. So yeah, that's already like what is it right now there in Australia? It's like because the time the time difference is like really, I mean, like when I interviewed Bren Foster, like that actually was like really, we had to coordinate that. We really had to nail that down because he's 14 hours ahead of me. So when I said, okay, we're going to talk on this time, I mean, he's literally, we had to be clear. It's like, okay, when we say this time, it's literally the next day for him.
Did you know in the movie?
Sorry.
So it's really like it's like one day of the week for me, and that's the next day of the week for him. We had to be very careful about that. So and like Aaron, like when you're a lot of times in Droga, same thing when you guys are watching this. I mean, when you watch the Saturday night stream, it's like already Sunday for you guys, or it's like already like Sunday afternoon for you guys. Yep. And we just got a super chat from Chappie, lives there. Oh, Boy Kills World. Oh man, I will definitely.
I would have to put that on mute. I can't watch with that irritating voiceover. The voice that they use for him is so fucking annoying. I can't even barely get through the trailer. And every time I see it, I think of that pigeon he plays on the insurance commercials or whatever it is.
Yeah. Which, by the way, for those of you who weren't aware, Boy Kills World includes in its cast Yaya Ruin, who is in The Raid.
Yeah. That shit went straight to video. That basically was
I saw it twice in the theater, but it was as
soon as you left the theater, they were putting that shit on digital. Hey, is Brad gone? All right, we'll put that shit on. That shit was on digital like immediately.
Yeah,
that was quicker than Abigail, and Abigail was like 3 weeks.
It was quicker than Monkey Man. That was a pretty quick turnaround.
5:06 p.m. Okay.
So yeah, Droga's probably like just a few hours away from going to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep, Thursday night.
All right. So, what do you guys? Here's Rhea, the reporting live from San Diego Comic-Con, or well, you're not. I'm assuming you're at the convention center right now, so, but you are.
She may be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. Where's she at? Hold on, let me show you.
Ford says, "What time you want me to open the store?"
From San Bernardino. I don't know if it's worth the drive just for a couple.
Really, it's only, but it's like 250 miles from Vegas to San Diego.
It's like 280, 270, something like that. Probably a little bit more, 285, but it's not that. It's an hour flight, so.
Well, even like driving, you could get that done in a day, very easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a lot easier to fly.
By the way, go back that real quick. Pull this down, because William said. When you talked about like when I would start coming here regularly, like literally, minimize this real quick, because you had minimize the video real quick. Now pull it back up. Pull Twitter back up.
Okay, what do we do? Oh, you just needed me to go. Okay.
Yeah, so right there, it's like this. I mean, literally, this is when we. He mentioned this the other night. It's like literally when I mean.
Oh.
He just says live, and it's like, okay, that's how I know when the time started, because we were talking about like how my time on here began, and it's like it's a very just live. It's not like it's like on it's very casual. So in case you guys are wondering, we're not gonna show you any more DMs, but
mine are all non-controversial.
Yeah.
Oops, hold on. I hate the sound setup on this.
Yeah, I mean. Well, you get a lot of ambient noise when you're recording from your phone or whatnot.
Consolidates to the ear sets.
Yeah, and Rhea's in her hotel right now.
Yo, we are here. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but we are inside. It's literally Tuesday, and the convention doesn't even start till 2 more days. Dude, I'm trying to like show off everything. This is where the magic happens. Basically, we're setting up shop, and let me go ahead and turn around so y'all can see everything. Basically, this is the floor.
Yeah, Rhea, she also said she wasn't wearing her mic, but she'll have it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I just got mine. I think she ordered the same mic I did because I showed her so I have a lapel mic. I got to test out. But I'll have that, and that'll be one of the ones I'll take it off when I interview people. So I'm going to try to travel as light as possible. So, all right.
Aren't you? He's leaving Thursday because he's got a quick flight, so he literally can be from the airport.
Yeah, I can't spend. My personal situation. I can't spend the whole week there. It's 4 days is going to be is a lot when you're sole proprietor. It just can't.
Yeah. Clint says nothing's more exhausting than setting up a convention booth. I hated doing that for the companies I work for. Fourthing. Ray is such a professional already there at Comic-Con, like the early bird catching the worm. Where's William at?
There's no worm for me to catch.
Yeah.
Everything I want is going to be there when I get there. Everything I have everything I have to stand in line for, I can't get past at the Hall H until the Friday night before. I can't get into Tommy McFarlane's booth until the day of. And
as Rhea points out,
yeah, I have no reason to be there right now.
Like Wednesday is like usually listed as like preview night, but that's like they're not dropping any bombshells on Wednesday, so that's like if you like absolutely cannot wait any longer, come in on Wednesday night. They kind of have that, but really, not even many convention goers really turn out for the Wednesday night portion, right?
Yeah, 4 days. It's about 25. 4 days is enough. 4 days is enough. All right, let's watch this damn trailer.
All righty.
Let's see if I can find the right one. Why
would we get demonetized for playing this damn thing though?
For Warner Brothers, I usually don't, but for all the other ones, they don't strike you. They just say, "Well, we use this to run ads, so we don't want you to." So, and they send you a little. They send you a little thing. Hey, we're not. This has no bearing on your site, on your page, but we won't be able to run ads through this video when you get monetized. So, if I'm going to have to do if I want, videos and ads when we get the 1,000 to run through all of our stuff, I'm going to literally have to go back and take out all of this. So like right now where we're watching, if you're not watching it live, so I'll let you know right now, if you go back and this is missing, that's why. But right now for the day of, it's not going to hurt us because we're not at 1,000 yet.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close. And once we get there, the rules will change a little bit.
Yeah, getting that code. Getting that code and that gold $sign Gene.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Turns you guys.
There you have it.
Yeah, so I don't know whatever. Quick thoughts, everybody. It's really interesting because there was a whole debate with the first one about like how much of it like takes place inside of his head, and especially with how it ends. And it's obviously very clear from this trailer that it's emphasizing, or it's presenting itself as if this all really did take place. But even that, it's like they could be like pulling another bait and switch on us. So it's like at the end of this movie, you find out, oh, this is another figment of his imagination.
I think that will be a bridge too far. I think at some point, I think the majority of what he went through in the first movie, he actually went through it. Yeah. The only thing I think was a hallucination are the things that they meant for you to think, like with Zazie Beetz' character.
Yeah, the relationship he dreams about having with her,
but I don't think they were trying to fool you. I think a lot of people just add on stuff in their heads about that. I don't think they were trying to fool you in that movie. I think that the things that were in his head, they wanted you to know the difference between the ones, and that's why they showed you when he met her again that this relationship that they had was a figment of his imagination. So,
okay. There's also been some talk that Harvey Dent may appear in this, so it'll be interesting. I'm really curious. I'm kind of curious if he does appear, if they'll kind of do a similar thing they did with Thomas Wayne, the first one, because Thomas Wayne in the first Joker was really a reinvention of what we think of Thomas Wayne as. He's classically Thomas Wayne is portrayed as being very giving, very philanthropic. He's a rich socialite who's really all about like uplifting all the downtrodden in Gotham City, and he's very much the opposite in Joker. He calls the people, the denizens of Gotham, clowns. Who if you're living in poverty, if you got problems like Arthur does, he thinks he thinks you're gutter trash. So I'm kind of wondering if like Harvey will be do a similar thing if he appears. The idea that Harvey Dent pre Two-Face has a pretty similar backstory in that he's a very he's very upright, very upstanding district attorney, and very portrayed in a very positive light. And then it's becoming Two-Face that really kind of causes the switch in him. But in the Joker universe in Todd Phillips, it's like this is not a universe where there are heroes. Really, this is not a superhero franchise or superhero movie. It's so villain centric, and it's so bleak, it's so grim that it's just kind of hard. And I had a piece on Screen Rant I did right after Joker came out where I posited it's this fan theory, like the way they portray Thomas Wayne and the way they portray Bruce Wayne, and I kind of had this idea they might totally just pull a 180 if they ever showed Bruce Wayne again. It's like, say he's actually become a villain, he's not becoming Batman. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process I'm going into this with, is that we're going to see probably a lot more reimagining of a lot of classic Batman characters. I mean, even with Harley Quinn, she's gone from being the Joker's therapist that he brings over into his realm of insanity, and he's in this, she's as a mental patient that what he does, it's clear what he does has really inspired a lot of people in Gotham, because you see people with the clown makeup, and he has kind of instigated some kind of uprising. And so, and it really on the micro level is kind of focusing on her. So that's really a lot of where kind of my curiosity lies with this is what it's going to portray outside of Arthur Fleck himself. And we got a little bit of hints in that trailer.
I think Dent is in the movie. I don't think we'll ever see him as Two-Face though, because it's not.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to see him as Two-Face, but it's just like like Harvey Dent as Harvey Dent, like what will Todd Phillips' portrayal of him look like? And again, I think it would be in the vein of what we saw of Thomas Wayne, where it's like it's very much a villainous reimagining. It's very much you're taking this in this universe that he's established. You're taking these characters that are portrayed traditionally as very heroic and very selfless, that he's really flipping them on their heads. And it's like this is the DC Black label. This is the DC Dark label. This is the DC villain universe.
I think it's because you see it from Arthur Fleck's point of view. These people are heroic. Like Thomas Wayne probably wasn't an asshole, but that's the way the Joker saw him. Yeah. Everybody you see through the lens of this movie, you're seeing it from his point of view. So it's distorted because he thinks, he's lost it. He's lost it. Everybody's against him. Even the people who tried to help him in the last movie, as soon as they didn't do exactly what he needed them to do, they became, you saw their portrayals in the movies kind of distort to where it was no gray area. They were either with him or you're against him. So I think that what he's trying to do is put us in his shoes, and how would you feel if things just fell apart for you that way, and there was everybody becomes the enemy. I'm gonna, like I said, I've read about his they never really confirm it, but then they do in some outlets. I just don't because like Thomas Wayne. And then, because I don't know if we'll ever see the Batman or any of these other characters, because I think what Todd Phillips is trying to do is keep the focus on
the Joker,
yeah, and I don't think you'll ever see anybody really developed in here. You may like Harvey Dent, you're probably going to only see him at the trial. Who knows how long the trial is? You know, the trial could be like 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, and even what we saw there of the trial in the trailer, I mean, it almost looks like Arthur's like acting as his own attorney there.
Yeah, and that's you know where they're getting that from, right?
Yeah. What is it? It's Scorsese. They're pulling stuff for Scorsese, aren't they?
Well, a mass murderer killer defending himself, Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for this.
All right, I'm about to dove Joga out of this chat forever.
You what? Because of this?
I trust Todd Phillips would never waste 1 minute of his screen time on a villain like that.
I don't think. Well, I just don't see. Well, I just don't see like the functionality of Bane really in the Joker movies anyway. Like even I mean, whether you're a fan of the character or not,
he doesn't have functionality. Even despite my disdain for this kid, he doesn't have functionality anywhere. That's the main problem. Is when you have a villain like that. You know, like I said, he doesn't have functionality. Period. He's popular. See, being popular doesn't mean good all the time. Just because something's popular, don't equate popular with good. Because there's been a lot of shit in comics over the last 35 to 40 years that have been popular, but has been garbage. And when you gravitate towards garbage because it's popular, what do you have at the end of the day? Garbage. So don't conflate popular with good. They're not always the same thing. And in comic books, it's about 50-50.
All right. Let's see. Chappie saying, I don't know what everyone is saying about how the sequel is unnecessary, but also Joe. Well, William is like, you've been saying like you were telling people as soon as this came out, it's like, yeah, there's no way they're not making a sequel.
No, I was halfway through the Joker. I wasn't even done watching it in our preview screening, and I knew because they were laying the foundations for something larger. Whether they wanted to or not, you don't lay those foundations and just walk away. People will drag you back because they want more of that story.
Yeah. DC fans are kind of used to being in that position, I guess.
Just cinema fans, because most of the people I saw it with only knew the Joker, you know, from historical preferences. Like I said, majority of the people that went with us for that movie have yet to pick up a comic in their lifetime.
Yeah, well, and it's probably also. I mean, I've seen a lot of commentary. Obviously, the Scorsese influence was it's not just known, but it was also very heavily. That was part of the marketing too of Joker. This is kind of playing a little bit more on the musical aspect of it, but you still see a lot of Scorsese in it. And
this wasn't. Sometimes you're right, Forth. This was not the case.
Well, I mean, and again, with what we see in the trailer, it's clear they're not just pulling something out of their ass here. He's going on trial, and he's also sparked this bourgeoisie versus proletariat kind of uprising within Gotham, and Harley in particular really has taken a liking to him, but also sees him as kind of a kindred spirit. So they have this is not just like a like a cash grab, like we're just throwing back in the makeup and let's call it a day kind of sequels. It's clear they're building upon what was established in a very organic way.
Yeah, I always say when it comes to sequel, continue to tell a story as long as there's story to be told. You'll know when you've ran out. You'll know when it's dry. But if you have story to tell, don't listen to this bullshit. We didn't need another one. People say that shit and they don't even, for no reason at all. Just because you've seen one movie, that doesn't mean the story is over. The story in your head is over, but that doesn't mean, like I said, I think it would have been malfeasance not to make a Joker 2 with the groundwork that they set. Fuck this ending just to end shit. That's bullshit.
Well, and that's even more malfeasance when you cross $1 billion with what you established. So, I'm happy, and I'm perfectly happy to cop to being like where it's like I was kind of at the position where it's like I was. Yeah. It's like I was
right now. I'm banning Bane from the chat. I'm just looking for a way to do it.
Can you ban the Cat in the Hat too? But yeah, I was perfectly happy to cop to, because I had the position when the first one came out of I don't need a sequel. This is my thought at the time. I don't need a Joker 2, but I'll definitely see it if it happens. And now seeing where they're going with this, it's like, yeah, it's like it's like I'm happy to have been wrong of my skepticism that one was going to come to pass, and that's just purely on a story level. Then when you add the financial aspect of it into it, you cross that kind of financial threshold, and you've laid the groundwork for more story and more character and world building to come out of it. It's like, yeah, it's professional malfeasance not to do that, and this particular studio has enough of a history of not capitalizing on these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's if you have a story to tell, continue to tell your story. Don't listen to people. Oh, you don't need to see. How the fuck is a fan sitting on his ass going to tell a storyteller whether a sequel is needed or not? The fuck do we know? I mean, are we qualified to make even a statement? I hear that all the time, and I'm like, then don't go see it. You know what I mean? But let that storyteller, if there's a story to tell his story. And you have to judge it one at a time, because that's not a blanket statement for every sequel, because we have seen sequels where it is just a cash grabs. So it's got to be taken on a case-by-case basis. But just to outright say, well, not everything, well, fuck that. Fuck that. There was no way in hell. I sat there and I called it before that movie was over. While I was sitting in the middle.
Was there anything in particular in the movie where there was like a light bulb moment that made you say, yeah, this is going to get more? Or was it just like kind of the overall experience?
Yeah, because as the movie progressed, the developmental stages of the character lasted almost an entire movie. They're building towards something that doesn't happen in that movie. So you were building foundations that you would never be able to explore in that movie. And that, in my opinion, there's no way they would not be able to explore them, because the story was there. The story was in the head, and the audience wanted to see that story. So halfway through it, I mean, anybody with no way in hell. I didn't know it was going to make $1 billion. I knew there was going to be a sequel because there was still a story to be told.
Well, now the big thing about this too, and maybe this kind of plays into somewhere we're going to talk about with the
once again, dude. This is not every movie. This is not every movie. You have to start with good movies too, for one. And you're comparing Blade, which was Blade 2, which I think was fucking garbage, to a movie that was nominated for an Academy Award, whose lead actor won an Academy Award and was laced with Academy Award winners that all throughout, and was inspired by an Academy Award framework in Martin Scorsese. You cannot compare Blade 2 and justifying Blade 3 to Joker. Oh, and by the way, one made $1 billion. And Blade, no fucking reality would have ever made that.
And going to that point, because some chappie pointed out here, it's crazy that Warner Brothers didn't want to make the Joker movie, especially Walter Hamada. But thankfully, because Hamada, famously or infamously, however you want to interpret it, he was tried to prevent it from happening, and then when it did end up moving ahead, Warner Brothers, and I can't really break down like specifics of it, but the financing of it, A, they lowballed the budget, and B, the financing was such that it was basically divided among some 3 different parties or 3 different financiers.
Well, they gave up half their distribution risk.
Yeah, exactly.
They made half their money.
Which means that that $1 billion, they saw far less of that than they would have if they just took the risk themselves. So and you've made jokes. It's like you cost you make $1 billion for your company, but the money gets divvied up that way. It's like you've got and you keep your job. It's like you've got photos on somebody on that.
Well, and plus, like I said, at the time, it was just a poorly ran company, and by getting rid of the people that they brought in, they admit that they brought in bad people, and that they themselves probably need to go, which is what happened. Not what? How many? 3 years later, they're all gone. So.
Yeah, but maybe this kind of plays a bit into maybe this kind of plays a bit into what we're going to talk about it also with the NBA WBD stuff, which is
AEW.
It's not with the
we talked about the NBA the other night, where
because that's still
that's really easy. Well, it's whether Amazon wants to take their deal. Warner Brothers did what they had the right to do in their contract, is to match one of the deals that was up there. So they matched the lower the ball deal, because that's what got them into trouble anyway by lowballing. So they matched Amazon's deal. Now it's up to the NBA whether they want to take that deal or not. I don't think they're going to take that deal because
I don't think so either. But because you yo-yoed them around this much, so it's like, and we're getting if we're getting the same offer with none of the baggage around it with Amazon, I would take that, certainly in a heartbeat. But
plus, you're Amazon I think there'd be lawsuits involved. If that happened, I think Amazon would sue, and I think Amazon would win. And at the very worst, Amazon would just up the bid. Amazon can up that bid. They paid 1.5 because that was the winning bid. But
because that's they needed change for them.
Yeah, if he wanted to add, Bezos wanted to add another 5, he could outbid them. Once again, this was lost when the exclusivity window opened up and let someone like Amazon in, because once Amazon comes to the table, there's no way you're matching them. It's only a matter of time before they said, fuck it, in this, here's $2 billion.
Well, and so you taking that kind of back to Joker with how the budget and profit situation in the first one. And I don't know if this information is out there at all about like how WBD is handled, in the Joker 2. I mean, the only real indicator of the financials of it is that the budget is way, way, way bigger. It's, $200 million. But is there any information like how their financing deal is such that they will see much more of the revenue for it than they did for the first one?
No, because it's going to be less, because it's going to be less coverage. So they took the B package, the C package, while everybody else, NBC and all, ESPN and everybody else.
No, I'm talking about with Joker. I'm talking about with Joker 2. That is with how this is. Again, I don't know how much of this has been made public as far as like how they budgeted versus how they've divided among financiers, but had they learned their lesson from the first one, where it's like, wow, this one was a huge hit, let's budget it in a way this time where it's like where the money actually comes back to us.
No. Oh, they did, yeah, because those guys are gone. The guys who made those decisions are gone, and so yeah, it's been handled right. Once you have that kind of success, you would never do that again. That'll never happen again. You keep bringing up franchises. You pick the ones that didn't work, but the majority of you leave out all the ones that have. So your point kind of falls in its own weight when you just pick ones. When I just gave you examples of ones that worked out, and I said you have to take it on a case-by-case basis. You cannot apply some fucking rule to every single case. And Joker, if you applied that rule to Joker, you probably miss out on a great movie. If you applied that to Terminator, you point out some of the other Terminator stuff that's gone wrong. But what if we didn't? You had to have Terminator 2 success to get there. What about Blade Runner 2049? You're leaving Oscars on the table because some bullshit rule about sequels and franchises. I mean, you're a salmon going up the river and up the stream with a bear at the top waiting to swat you off, because that's some outdated, non-mathematical bullshit. Sorry, man. Hi, Ruth.
Ruth. Yeah, how's the oh wow.
Blade 2 was garbage. Yes.
Guy.
Yes, it was garbage.
No, it was garbage. We need to watch Friday that or on Halloween.
Why would no, we're not wasting airspace on any the first one, fine.
Guys, what's give me a dollar amount.
You're paying up the ass on that one.
William is but see, he's amenable. He doesn't fight these things like I do, because like
I'll find something to do. I don't see. I saw that movie for some reason. I forgot why, like 6 or 7 years ago. It was just as fucking lame as it was.
I want to see you and Rhea really both of you just like watching a Blade movie. I want to see that just back and forth, because and Rhea's speak of the devil.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? You have an honest opinion about it. I don't like some of your movies. I've told artists and creators that have created things that I like.
Rob Liefeld, yeah.
I don't have anything against you. I don't like the work. I've been in the same arena as wrestlers where I thought they had a horrible match that I paid to see. I've told them that and still got my autograph. What do I get out of lying? I'm a horrible liar. You're gonna know when I'm lying. Yeah. But no, I would tell respectfully. So I don't like Blade 2. I don't like Blade 3. I think you're a tremendous actor. I hope he gets back to the level that he was in the 90s. That allowed the level that Wesley Snipes was in. Is he decided what was getting made. If Wesley Snipes picked the script,
yeah. I mean, he was. We might have gotten Black Panther, 25 years earlier if had it not been for him, or had it. He was trying to get Black Panther made in the 90s, and had it not been for just that being an uphill battle in the 90s. So he already misspoke there.
I don't think he was trying as hard as he could have to get Black Panther, because he would have gotten it. he would have gotten it. Because
okay, but Black Panther, like 1996 Black Panther, that's not doing what like MCU 2018 Black Panther.
No, neither is Blade. Neither is Blade.
Yeah,
Blade,
yeah.
I mean, the Blade didn't get made because anybody gave a fuck about the character in the mid-90s. Blade got made because Wesley Snipes looked at the script and brought it to the distributors in the studios, and they said, "You're Wesley Snipes, okay." You know, in the 90s, Wesley Snipes had that kind of pull. He was a box office draw at that point. That's why Blade got made. If Joe Smith or me or any other person with that's not Wesley Snipes comes to the studios, New Line says, "Hey, I want to do Blade," you're just not going to get a call back.
Yeah, well, there was also, apparently behind the scenes. There was, even when he was kind of pushing for it, there was talk about with New Line about like, okay, Wesley wants to do this, but I mean, we're also maybe looking at Denzel or LL Cool J, which maybe Denzel, maybe I could have seen the reason behind that. And I mean, all
LL
respect,
Cool J wasn't there yet. He wasn't
exactly
there
yeah.
He wasn't at that moment.
He's gotten way bigger in front of the camera since, but yeah, as far as that I mean, that was even before Deep Blue Sea, so he really hadn't established himself outside of his rap career at that time.
And Wesley Snipes, like I said, some of you guys were either too young or you weren't alive, and that's okay. At that point in time, Wesley Snipes was a box office draw, cross demographics. He got those movies made. You know, like I said, anybody else, anybody else, and there's not very only a handful of people that could have got that movie made and got the money financed for that one. And Wesley Snipes, you look at who he was coming off of. You start, like I said, you start from 1991. You start with New Jack City, which is one of his best roles. And you got White Men Can't Jump. You got Do the Right Thing. You got all these movies. And they were hits after hits throughout the 90s. We're just talking about, the same era that Jordan was God. Wesley Snipes was on film making hits, and he wasn't just a draw amongst black folks too. We went to see him because we only had like 2 or 3 people, but he drew everybody. He drew everybody, and that's why that movie got made. So, but no, I would say, hey, Wesley Snipes, listen, you can tell somebody something. Now, if I say, hey, you're a piece of shit in your movies, yeah, that'd be a problem. But I mean, if you give an honest opinion, why? What's he gonna? He's made his money off of that. It's not like I'm saying, hey, you're trash, sir. No, I just don't like that movie you did, or the one after that. But New Jack City, dude, Nuno Brown and New Jack City, he's fucking classic. That's a watch party, even though it has nothing to do with science fiction, horror, fantasy. Every woman, man, and child at some point in their life needs to watch New Jack City, because that and the way that movie portrays the crack epidemic from the mid 1980s and turned neighborhoods into war zones so accurately, and he's an absolute fucking villain in that. He's perfect in that, and he's been in a lot of stuff that's really good. So I mean, listen, some of I would tell Ridley Scott, hey man, you're like a god to me as far as directors goes, but Thelma and Louise, I get chills thinking that you made that movie. And, The Duel and some of these other movies. I tell you, I mean, I probably wouldn't waste my time if you met a famous person like that. If you only got 2 seconds to get an autograph or talk to somebody, you probably wouldn't waste that time. But if we had like a long conversation, it'd be a little bit different. Like if I were interviewing you, full disclosure, if we ever get somebody on the show whose stuff I don't like entirely, I'm pretty sure somebody on the chat, William doesn't like yourself. I'll be like, I didn't like this particular thing. It didn't work for me. I don't think anybody should be ashamed to say that. I don't think. Otherwise, you're lying, and you'd see right through that. I'm a horrible liar. So, Nerd Kozanosha, thank you for $20 $19.99 super chat. Love the first Joker. I'm all for the second. Have a great night. Thank you. Like I said, you just have to apply. You have to apply the circumstances to each individual situation. Not every movie needs a sequel, and some movies do need a sequel, and they get mishandled. Look at Independence Day. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't have been a sequel to that movie. It just means it should have been done better. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You still haven't forgot about that? Why is that still on your mind? What is wrong?
If there's one bad like William hates this movie watch party I would suggest it's like it's Independence Day Resurgence, and listen, it's like I'm just as much ill regard for that as he does. So yeah, we could.
Well, that
really...
was you waited exactly 20 years, and they bought everybody back. You had everyone
except one guy.
Everyone, well, yeah, and that's where you should have said, you know what?
Yeah,
we're gonna wait, because you felt not okay. I think that had he been involved as the main star, he would have rejected certain scripts. At that point, Will Smith was at the send this back to the drawing board.
He had plenty of leverage to say, okay, this isn't. We're not moving ahead with this unless I like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Slipknot, how you doing, Slipknot?
Yeah.
Long time no see. Demolition Man was actually quite entertaining.
Oh,
I thought it was
Demolition Man.
really over the top. But that's what year was that released?
That was 93.
Okay, so did you see what I'm saying now? Demolition Man was a blockbuster, and he was just. Let me pull up Wesley Snipes' filmography.
Well, because like when did he like really break out first? That was like again like
91.
Okay.
And I think he was in Jungle Fever too, because he was in basically for a while. He was in basically like Spike Lee just loved him.
Yeah.
All right.
And Samir points out, he's the bad guy, and Michael Jeff bad video directed by Mark Scorsese. Yep.
All right,
and
Wesley Snipes' performance.
Michael only hires really talented. Too bad Prince didn't agree to do it though. That would have been. Yeah, I guess that would have been something.
All right, so he was in Major League. I mean, Willie Hayes Mays, yeah, that was his breakout role. King of New York was a fucking excellent movie. Christopher Walken in it. He was a detective. That's a great movie. Then Spike Lee got a hold of him. Mo Better Blues, which was a hit. Then there's the one that I say was his breakout hit. New Jack City, Nuno Brown. Jungle Fever, that very same year, Jungle Fever, which was a hit. The Water Dance, which was a hit. 1992, White Man Can't Jump. All right, one of the movies that wasn't really good, but it didn't matter because let's see, Passenger 57, I thought sucked.
Oh, I like that. I like
that movie.
I like that.
But here's what this is what a hitmaker was. They spent nothing on that movie. They spent $15 million on that movie, and they made 66 million. Now in 1993, 1992, that got you a nice house. If you were the producer. Boiling Point, Rising Sun. I saw Rising Sun right before.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was pretty good. That was the Michael Crichton movie.
Yep, Michael Crichton, and it was a really good mystery movie. Demolition Man.
Yeah, I love Demolition Man. He's awesome in Demolition Man too, Simon Phoenix.
Yeah,
because that's such a contrast to Blade, because Blade is is very stoic. He's very cold. He's very he does have a sense of humor, but he's just very very singularly focused on chopping up vampires. Simon Phoenix, he's just a blast to watch. Simon Phoenix.
Sugar Hill, which was a medium hit. Drop Zone, Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. A movie that I thought was going to get a bunch of people fired for even being thought about. It broke even. It didn't lose money, and it should have. But you had a lot of star power in there. Money Train, that was what J-Lo was in that. Way to Take Hell, that was he did a cameo in that. The Fan, that was, I think, Robert De Niro was going after him. That was a hit. Murder at 1600 was a hit. Let's see, U.S. Marshals, that was another hit. That was with Tommy Lee Jones in it. That movie made money. And then his next big hit, 1998, was Blade.
Yeah.
All right, so you see what he was in. So I just started from 1990 with King of. We just started 89, and then King of New York goes 1990. That's 8 years. We're not even talking about the full decade. You have hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
So that guy walks into your office and says, "I want to play a vampire that the general public doesn't know who the fuck it is." And you know what? The answer is yes. When you have that history, yes. If anybody else walks in there and asks for that movie, they get escorted out.
Pretty much, yeah. I agree, Aaron. I love it. And those swear machines just make me laugh so much. And part of it is because the question I have is like, has anybody ever actually paid that fine for those swear machines? Because the cops clearly aren't capable of enforcing that. Or it's like, we're cops, we can't handle this kind of violence. We should do a watch party of that. That'd be awesome. So many just moments with it's a great action movie, but it's also great sci-fi movie.
You gotta have. I just you guys are. I think you guys are doing this just to
Fort's also got one. Also got one here too. That was in the trailer for Past 57.
That was what they sold it.
Well, that really was part of the marketing, and it's kind of like a meme.
My mom was a flight attendant at that time. We saw that together. We're like, this is bullshit, but it was a movie. It was a movie, but once again, it did barrel. I mean, and that's what I mean. That's why Blade gets made. That's why. But like I said, I like the first Blade. I really like that. That was, explaining to everybody I run into who this was. It wasn't always fun, but but Blade 2 I did not like, and Blade 3 was a joke. Oh yeah. He reprised that role too. No. I mean, if it came up in conversation, I wouldn't run from it. I don't see any.
Well, I mean, listen. It's like nobody. William and we're not going to just walk straight up to a celebrity at Comic-Con. I think Blade this movie you did is terrible. It's like no. It's like that's not an icebreaker. What the hell? It's. I mean, I'd love. It's the kind that we love to do interviews. We maybe get an autograph. Maybe just shake their hand, talk about stuff they did that we do like. But it's like if the conversation drifts towards like this thing you did that just didn't resonate with me, William's saying it's like, yeah, I would not sugarcoat my feelings, but you don't lead with that saying, oh yeah, Wesley Snipes, Blade 2 is terrible.
If I ever get a chance to beat Zack Snyder, I don't think I have to prove my affection for his work. However, there is one thing I disagree with that he's done in one of his movies, and that was BVS, and that was adapting the Death of Superman story.
Well,
even then,
you did meet Zach, and
I had to,
and you didn't bombard him with Doomsday commentary.
But if I had like a amount of time, we were having an and it came up, I would be like, that's the only thing I don't like about BVS. And even when I say that, I put BVS up there in like the upper stratosphere of superhero movies. So even that doesn't take much luster off of it for me. But yeah,
and to add like a corollary to that, one thing that it's kind of related to Doomsday, that I kind of roll my eyes at the theater because it's I look at it more as like, Zach, really, did you have to like just throw them this red meat? It's when Doomsday is like starting to rampage and all the news reports are going, oh, but don't worry, everybody's home from work. The town's nobody's there. The port's abandoned. Nobody's gonna die. It's like, and they obviously had to put that in there because like Man of Steel, the destruction of in Metropolis, and we just live in this era now where it's like nobody can so much as get a paper cut when superheroes and villains are battling. So it's that's my thing where it's like I would say it's like if anything does take BVS slightly down any kind of peg for me, it's like that where I just kind of rolled my eyes like, oh God, why do you have to just address that? But even with that, it's like, yeah, same thing. I place it like it's like, I mean, my Mount Rushmore, or my Mount Everest for CBM. So it means Man of Steel, BVS, CSJL. I mean, those three are like at the top of that pyramid for me. It's like
I need more heads. I need more heads in my Mount Rushmore.
I'm not going to limit to 4, but I kind of use like the pyramid analogy, where it's like, okay, these are the ones I place at the top, and then it kind of widens as it goes down, and those 3 are at the top, even with like that that misgiving either you or I have that we still place that at the tip top of the pyramid.
I don't know. New Jack City is it's a great movie. It's a great
quotable. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Yeah, Wildcats. Oh, Wildcats! I remember. Yeah, he like I said, he would have movies that weren't the big hits, but they were still hits enough. Like I said, not a Blade hater as far as the character. It's just you have to understand where Blade is in the Marvel universe in order to even the entirety of the character. And like I said, I think people are just doing it to fuck with me. Blade ushered in the new era of the MCU. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. That is not. You read that shit on the back of a magazine or something just for a headline, but that it's X-Men and Spider-Man.
Well, and also like, I mean, as far as like Wesley's work, and maybe this is more of a me thing, because I think I've made very clear on here my affection for the Undisputed franchise, but that's from Undisputed 2 on. So if I were to meet Wesley and just somehow the conversation were to go to, so tell me what I made that you didn't like, I would say, yeah, Undisputed, the first one's not too high on my list, especially seeing where the series, what it really turned into at Undisputed 2.
Never seen him. Yeah, King of New York. Yes, he calls himself the Black Frank Wright. If you listen to he uses it all throughout a lot of his movies. But if you look at there's a song called Victory, or he's doing his first portion of the rap as the Black Frank Wright. Victory is a song. Like I said the other night, we had when we did our music store, just 2 songs. If I were ever a professional wrestler or somebody that needed an entrance for anything in my life, there are 2 songs that I would have to have, and it would be a hard choice between them. Puff Daddy and the Family's Victory, which is Puff Daddy, Busta Rhymes, and it opens up with Biggie, and it's one of the it's done to the backdrop of Rocky Balboa's montage, the training montage, and it just builds, and then you just like. They just did it. They did it like one take in the studio. You can kind of hear them in the background testing themselves and testing the mic. They didn't cut that out. He got it on the first thing, and he just blows it out. That song and For Those About to Rock from AC/DC. But there's 2 songs. But yeah, I cannot believe Christopher Wallace it only lived to be 26 years old. Notorious B.I.G. was just that whole East Coast rap coast, West Coast bullshit and whatever, all that stuff that was going on in the mid-90s. I wasn't the biggest Tupac fan, but I respected him. And 26 years old, they both died at like 26, 27 years old. Not even, I mean, just can you imagine? They would be in their mid 50s today. And it just got taken for some bullshit. Like, all Tupac. I mean, if he releases another album, then I'm going to be like, okay, did you really die on Harmon and Cole? Yeah, Notorious B.I.G. You listen to some of his stuff. Somebody's Got to Die, Hypnotized. That guy was on his way to being like, he was already a massive success when he died. But just can you imagine another 10 or 15 years, and then the era, and having a lot of these guys have their second win with the era of social media, to where your music gets exposed to even more people. Never got that chance, man. But yeah, he got that. And Christopher Walken's character in there. King of New York is another good movie. Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. Whatever the reason is, Samir. Yeah, it is all subjective. I think it sucked, and it didn't. By the way, it didn't suck because of Wesley Snipes. I just thought that the story was a stretch, and the character interpretations were a stretch, and for I just never that movie just never captured me. But.
Well, Reyes is it. Feige wouldn't greenlight a Blade movie and let it cook for 5 years out. He wanted it to be great. This is a Lunchable ring on a feast. Well, it's feeling like an overcooked Lunchable right now.
I don't think Kevin Feige was really, like I said, it's all about who comes to you with it. If Joe Snuffy comes to you with it, it's not happening. But you had Wesley Snipes in the first iteration on a roll of a lifetime, and then you have a 2-time Academy Award winner. If anybody but those level of individuals comes to you with a script, this probably is not happening at all, to be honest with you.
Well, and Feige's given a couple of quotes lately talking about, it's like we're trying to crack the code on Blade, and it's like we're not going to do it unless we get it right. It just sounds like PR spin to me. So,
but once again, you're not going to lose Mahershala Ali, so
I'm telling you, if and when we get that headline, it's like Mahershala Ali walks from Blade. I mean, it's like that's like, what do you? That movie's not happening. Is hanging by a thread that is named Mahershala Ali, and the moment he walks, it's like Blade ain't. It's like Blade. The only Blade you're going to see in the MCU is this highly anticipated / expected cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. That is all but an open secret.
And that's not really MCU because they're probably going to wipe out all the realities and get back to the sacred timeline, which is the whole point of this, by the way. I am seeing it Thursday at me, Rhea, and Phil are seeing it Thursday at 6:15. I'm going to be dead tired, but that's okay. I'm going to be running on 4 days of adrenaline, man. I'm going to crash hard Sunday night. Yep. We are going Sunday night. Yeah, using his favorite actor, too, Robert De Niro. Cape Fear is a creepy fucking movie, by the way. And he creeps me out. And I mean, I've seen Robert. You want to know what kind of range Robert De Niro has, why he's one of the greatest actors to ever do it? Watch Cape Fear. Watch Cape Fear. And another movie, by the way, Men of Honor, with him and Cuba Gooding Jr. in it, where he plays the Master Chief. And Cuba Gooding Jr. plays one of the first black diver to ever made. He gives a speech in there where he gives the Navy Divers Creed, and it sends chills up my spine because at the end of the movie, they're trying to Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character gets injured to the point where he's going to lose his diving certification. So he has to put on this big suit and prove to the board that he can do it, and he's struggling. And there's a scene in there where Robert De Niro gets up out of the jury, out of the panel, and he starts screaming the creed, and he urges him on step by step. One of the even the people in I remember seeing that movie. There were people in the audiences crying because the people on the panels, the admirals and the captains, were all crying too. And then Robert De Niro just walks off with his hot woman, and that was it. But yeah, Robert De Niro, I hope people are appreciating him while he's here with us. I mean, he might outlive me, who knows? But I hope people, because sometimes you're so great, people just take you for granted, and you don't necessarily pay attention to the detail that how great Robert De Niro is. I mean, 2-time Academy Award winner, could have probably won multiples. I mean, he won an Academy Award where he's speaking like 90% Italian or Sicilian in Godfather 2. I mean, he wins for Best Actor for playing Don Corleone, Vito Corleone as a young man. By the way, Al Pacino should have won that year for Michael Corleone, but hey, he ended up getting it for Scent of a Woman, which was one of those performances like the Whoopi Goldberg type of situation where we didn't give it to you for all these movies that we should have given it to you for, but here's one okay performance. Here's your trophy. I hate when they do that. Don't look at his IMDb. Don't look at whose IMDb. Money Train was the first time I noticed Jennifer Lopez. It was like, okay, I see. Plus, she was on In Living Color. She was one of the Fly Girls. Living Color was, like I said, you couldn't do Living Color today. Living Color would get a whole bunch of people canceled.
Yeah. Well, today it's like, oh man, it's like, I mean, yeah. people are getting canceled like 50 times over the kind of humor they did in Living Color. Ray has also got a real zinger here.
If you know what, I executive produce. I mean, he's an executive. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever directed anything. He's an executive producer. You have a credit if he really wants to get it made. But like I said, if you can't get it made with Mahershala Ali, then you're having problems beyond that. It's the IP. Yeah. It's not the people at this point. It's the IP. Well, I don't think Kevin.
And it speaks to like whether or not the studio themselves really consider a priority. Yeah.
Okay. I have no idea what Brad does. Motorboats don't know.
Okay.
After we're done, Google the term motorboat.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know where that came from, but it's Clint, and he may be on.
Yeah. What brought that on, man? It's like. Root says, "Trailer, let's get arty." Okay.
Dude, this woman in Art the fucking Town, Catwoman. I mean, yeah, this caused problems. The whole sovereignty, because it caused prison, and you can't act from prison. So,
yeah. And also,
what happened? What did you do? Did I miss something?
Yeah, did I miss something too? I mean, I'm just sitting here with my hand like this, like I usually do, but that's about it.
All right. Well, you're further down than I am. De Niro is a national treasure. He's not above doing schlock and straight. Yeah, he does a lot of indies now. Him and Al Pacino, because there's nothing else for they'll be in some low budget shit and make it great because they've done everything. They've done everything. They're the
Well,
goats.
I mean, De Niro, like it's like he'll do something like Dirty Grandpa now. I mean, that's how much money he can just. That's how much he can just say, I don't care. I'm just doing whatever the hell I want now.
He makes so much off of royalties of some of the greatest movies ever made that he doesn't even have to do anything. Yeah, this was bullshit too. Yeah, Master J back, and they finally caught those guys 20 years later too. By the way, it was a drug deal gone bad, and he had been involved in some stuff. But yeah, Run DMC, Jam Master J being killed, that took the heart. It wasn't as blatant as the guy who killed Tupac telling you for 20 years, hey.
Yeah, it's true.
I did it, and now he's in court saying, I need to be released on whatever. I think he got released because I didn't do it. I'm like,
and not only that, but also this is one of my favorite Chris Rock jokes is that the thing about it is like Tupac every year he comes back from the dead, records a new album with clues in it.
Yeah, it was the guy with the Mech 11 that did it. Yeah, he like I said, that whole thing about, and like I said, this happened in Vegas. It happened literally right the strip. I think that that the city of Las Vegas, the county didn't want it. It was 1996. We had just been OJ-fied. We had just 2 years before that Rodney King with LAPD. I think Las Vegas was absolutely terrified to have that kind of spotlight on it because the evidence to put the guy away. Because like I said, two of the people that were involved were dead. So yeah, that was something, man. But that you want to be here in Vegas when the Tyson fight, you never knew what the hell was going to happen. I have not seen it. Brad, have you seen that? Brad's confident. Yeah, and it was young black men making money. Why couldn't we just make the money? Death Row was making money hand over fist. Bad Boy Records was making money hand over fist. If they were going, I mean, I never understood why they just couldn't be okay with them being successful. And then they started talking about each other and each other's raps. I'm like, I guess I'm not from that street culture, but if I'm making millions, go ahead and talk about me in your song. Guess what I'm gonna do in my next one, and it's gonna make money for both of us. Maybe I'm just greedy to the point where Robert been like, "Oh, you disrespect me on your album? Okay, keeping my name in the news, and when I do my next one, guess who's gonna be in mine? Just sitting on a pile of money. I never understood it, and when people started dying over it, the two prominent people, like I said, I mean, Tupac and Biggie. I mean, how old was he? I think Tupac got shot on my birthday. Tupac got shot on September 7th, 1996. I was out in the middle of the desert with my guard unit. I was in the National Guard at that time. And somebody had a radio, and we found out about that. That was my 22nd birthday. It was my 22nd birthday. We were listening to find out what happened in the fight because we weren't in an area that, you could get all that, because we were out in the middle of the desert and it wasn't like cell phones and all that. We didn't have all that. And that's how I found out Tupac. And at that point, he was alive. He lived, and everybody thought he was going to live, but he died on September 11th. He died 4 days later. Tupac died on September 13th at age 25. He had just turned 25 years old. All right. Just turned 25 years old. And like I said, he's become folklore for all the reasons, everything but his actual talent, in my opinion. Because like I said, I wasn't into all this stuff, but I mean, the dude was one of the most talented individuals on the world. And like I said, I will never forget that fall of 1996. I was out at I forgot what range we were out. It was in the middle of nowhere, and hearing that that had happened. Like I said, on the night of September 7th, 1996, Shakur was in Las Vegas to attend the Bruce Seldon Mike Tyson fight. Like nobody even remembers the fucking fight. Boxing match with Suge Knight, all those thugs in there. But yeah, and I'll never forget that night. And then Biggie was killed like the next year, I think March. And he was, I forget, he was only 24. He was only 24. He was 2 months away from turning 25, 24 years old. And it just seems like he'd been around forever at that point. 24 years old. So, yeah, that's, man. William is a national pocket change, but that's pretty good for a comic book salesman. Hey, man, I'll take any compliment I can get. Yeah, she did a topless scene in there. I remember that. No, Richard Pryor would get you taken off the air. They would go to something else. You try to do, yeah, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Damn, you can't even do Chris Rock. Chris Rock stuff like you, dude. Chris Rock's stand-up special, Rolling with the Pain, is great shit. Okay, we're not watching that. Okay, Ruthie. Yeah, once she got Anaconda and Money Train, Anaconda was big. I don't know why that movie is a special effects bullshit fest, but people love that fucking movie.
It kind of is.
That snake, and like I said, Ice Cube, like they got snakes out here that big. That's his line in the whole movie. He didn't need to say anything else. Ice Cube is classic in that movie.
Yeah,
Ice
he's
Cube,
pretty
man,
awesome.
And his son is taking up acting too.
Yeah. Well, he has when he chops. I mean, it's such a like Ice Cube one liner when he chops up the snake at the end. It just goes bitch.
Yeah, and the snake eats John Boyd and spits him out, and it's like, oh
yeah. Like, well, they set that up in that blurb at the beginning where it's like, anacondas regurgitate their food. It's like, oh, there's no way somebody's not going to get barfed up by the snake.
Yeah. Yes, they are still doing Heat 2. Even though the rain, if it happens, even though I'm not here, it's still going to be doing damage to my roof. So, hey, my guys are going to be setting the buckets. I told them, here's an X on the ground. Here's where you set the buckets when you know that shit's coming. But somehow me not being here, hearing the droplets on my roof and hearing the drip, drip, drip is going to be better. Oh, Aubrey Braza is great. I think everything.
Well, she's hilarious. She's pretty. He's very deadpan. He's really awesome. Scott Pilgrim too.
That was a fan. Yeah. Scott Pilgrim made a lot of people in Scott Pilgrim. When you look back now, they're like, "Ooh, wow, I remember."
Oh yeah. A lot of them went on to pretty big things. I actually got to interview Michael Cera too a while back for what? Yeah. Again, what was it? Damn it, the name keeps escaping me. Of like the animated, like the dog samurai movie.
Samurai Jack?
No. Look him up real quick. I got to interview quite a few big people out of that. I got to interview Michael Cera. I got to interview Asif Manvi. I got to interview George Takei.
I don't know how many copyright claims I can have in one stream.
Which is by not mentioning their names? Oh, no, okay.
No, she wants me to play the shit.
Pause of Fury, that's what it's called. So they were pretty good to talk to. And I mean,
Whoopi Goldberg from the guy. Whoa.
I think it meant Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. She should not have won it for Go sucked.
Chappie with the super chat. Director David Gore said they were about to be filming Blade Trinity, and the IRS held up a bunch of Snipes money. Him winning to pay taxes plays a lot of some of the shenanigans. Well, again, that behind the scenes, that was just a whole shit show. I mean, I usually I'm of the perspective is like when anytime a movie has like a trouble production, that tends to get sort of spun a lot into the mythologizing around it and say like, oh, this was really difficult behind the scenes, so therefore it must be bad. That's just not the case at all. I mean, like Jaws, the original Jaws just if you read in the history of that was a nightmare to make, the original Jaws, and I mean, look what happened with that. So, there are tons of things we think of as classics that were just absolute struggle, and things that were a walk in the park to make that turned out terribly. But in this case, Blade Trinity, the behind the scenes problems are very reflective in the final product we got.
All right, let's go to this last topic that I had that we kind of touched but didn't touch, and that is the Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW have an agreement in principle. AEW, WBD have an agreement in principle for a new deal. All Elite Wrestling and Warner Brothers Discovery have an agreement in principle to keep AEW turning networks for the next several years. According to sources in the television industry, AEW and WBD's deal would add AEW context to Max streaming platform, including pay-per-views. Thank God, because the motherfuckers are expensive. But I tell you what, I'm a cheap ass, and if I could get around spending it, I would. But knowing the level of their pay-per-views are awesome. There has not ever been a bad AEW pay-per-view in the 5 years of the company. So I don't mind paying, but damn, would it be a lot easier on me if they would put them all on. I would even pay for a slight price increase on HBO Max because of the value. That value alone for a wrestling fan is enough for me. Would allow you to content on Max streaming platform, including pay-per-views. It is unknown how much AEW would earn moving pay-per-views to streaming. There's going to be a guaranteed amount. It's going to be a guaranteed amount because they're going to have to match their average buy rate, which is pretty high, but they only do 5 a year. So now, if that would also be, beneficial for, I guess, for WBD, if they did match that, giving them 12 pay-per-views a year, which I'm not all for, but I financially, that makes it more valuable to both companies because they're getting a higher cut because more volume and the attraction that it's basically a live sport. It may be choreographed, but it's still basically considered in TV a live sport. An official announcement on an extension can happen within the next several weeks. Garrett Gonzalez and Dave Meltzer collaborated on the report on Saturday's Wrestling Observer Radio. Exact numbers of the deal won't be available, and we're said to be middle to high side of what the two groups are engaging. So you're and for AEW, that's going to put them in the black. So there you go. Tupac died on your birthday. Yeah, he was shot on your birthday, or died on your birthday. He was shot on mine. Yeah. It's just Williams radio pictures. It's shaping up with the help of Rhea. It's shaping up. This is going to be kind of cool. Because like I said, where I'm situated and where we're going to be, there's, I may have some access to some people. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Fuck you. It's even in that song you like to sing to. It's wrestling is all throughout that. So there. We'll never stop talking wrestling on this show. Yeah, I saw those. He's talking about those. They're at the cartoon stick. I don't know where they're at now. I think on his Twitter.
I don't think that was particularly good marketing either.
That would be a bad idea if he ever wants to work again in Hollywood. These guys who run these studios they hold grudges. You don't keep the tea until you're done acting. If you ever want another big role, you might want to keep that tea in the cup there, buddy. October 3rd. October 3rd is a date that's very special to me because that is Black Hawk Down Day. That is the Battle of Mogadishu. I graduated Army basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and that was happening while I was graduating the Battle of Mogadishu. Every year on my social media, especially on my Facebook page, I don't do it on the other ones too much. Every year, October 3rd, I commemorate Randy Shugart and Gary Gordon. The word hero was reserved for them. You hear the word hero thrown around, and it may mean something. Your father, your parents, or your brother, or those are heroes to you. But as far as like common national heroes, what you saw, according to the people from the 10th Mountain and Rangers that described the events, what you saw there on Black Hawk Down, that movie, pales in comparison to what they actually did as far as like those two men jumping down there to save Michael Durant against all those Somalis. He's alive today because of them, and they both got awarded the Medal of Honors. If I ever owned a sports team and I had to get a stadium, it's Shugart Gordon Stadium is what I would name it. And I'm literally brand new in uniform. I'm a brand new soldier watching these guys, knowing I could never fucking live up to anything that they're never. live up to anything what they did that day. So AEW's deal is awesome. I'm going to get to that super chat. AEW is freaking awesome. There could be more news coming out when you go. Yeah, there could be. I'm going to try to get in that panel. I'm going to have to get tickets. I'm not going to get any sleep with doing this thing. When you guys see me, it's going to be on pure adrenaline, caffeine, and whatever Frankenstein monster used to resurrect themselves. Because you got to get up pretty early to get to some of these things, and then after some of those things, you got to go to other things. But it's going to be on pure fun adrenaline. I cannot wait to get to this weekend. But I will be at that panel, and I'm taking that belt with me in hopes that I can get it signed by Will Ospreay. All right. William has more wrestling photos of his IG than it's okay. There's a significant amount of wrestling. I can only go to the events when they're here, but it's considerable. It's considerable. Yeah. He knows because he's going through my internet account to make up the openers for the thing. All right, Chappie, thank you for the support. Blade Trinity is one of my favorite guilty pleasures, but yeah, even better when you hear of all the horror stories with Wesley Snipes and how much director David Goyer, crew members hated working with him. Such a dick. That's not a good reputation to have, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
yeah.
That's not what it's. I mean, and there has been, a lot of back and forth on the behind the scenes, but you don't want to wear as a badge of honor that this last director you worked with hated you, or vice versa.
Oh, the Rock in his prime, and I remember the Rock Stone Cold. The lead up to that WrestleMania was some of the best shit that they ever do. Let's see. Yeah, Saving Private Ryan on D-Day. I couldn't imagine being on that beach. I guess if I were there, I would do it. Like they did what they needed, but I'm just watching it from afar, watching it and knowing, like I said, seeing it with World War II combat vets, because many of them were still alive at that point, and seeing them get up and leave because they couldn't watch that. It was so real. And that sound, we were watching that brand new sound that they just had and put in the theaters in the late 90s, and it was shaking you. And it was like, can you imagine if you were someone who fought in World War II and sitting in that movie? Like I said, those guys had to get out and go to the lobby. So, all right, fun's being ridiculous. So I have one Howard the Duck you saw from last year's Comic-Con. There was one Howard the Duck there for me. So, all right, guys, that's about it because I got to start semi preparing for the trip and eat and take care of some stuff because I'll be gone and print up signs and shit for sales and stuff this weekend. So thank you guys for being here. The 70 of you that are watching right now, the 50 that are
Twitter,
yeah, please. Come over to the Sci-Fi Center. Come over to our page. I'll put it in there for you right now. Hold
on. Fun says, no, don't be surprised when you leave the Sci-Fi Center and turns into Lord of the Flies. We cook and eat bread. I'll hold down the fort here. I'll keep him under control.
If he shows some of his, you might show some crazy stuff. But there you go. There's
the stuff I'm going to show you guys is like you're going to say like Brad alone should be in charge of all watch parties from here on.
All four of you that are there.
Yeah. Snipes was a cross between what Val Kilmer and Mark Orlando were on the Dr. Rowe. You see that documentary, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, it's it is what it is. The behind the scenes. Again, there have been. I think it's fair also for Wesley to get to tell his side of the story, which he, has, disputed a lot of this. But but it doesn't change the fact that again the production behind the scenes was just now. Nobody's proud of that movie, and nobody's enjoyed the experience of making it.
All right, guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the views. For those of you who are on Twitter, venture on over. I put the link into the discussion of that thread, the live thread. So help. Like I said, I don't know when we're going to hit 1,000. I just feel it coming soon. So who knows? All right. For Brad, this is William. I will don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow, depending on how my prep goes. If everything goes, it's not just packing. I got to test out certain things to make sure, I want to make sure the microphones and everything work. I don't want to get out to San Diego and have issues. So I'm going to be doing all that. So I may or may not do a stream tomorrow night. More than likely I will. If I do, it's going to be a Midnight Express. It's going to be a short one because then I'll be up early in the morning to get on the plane and start our adventure. Until then, let me bring that super chat. There's a delay tonight in our thing, so let me get that up there. Thank you for the super chat, Chappie. I will see you all. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you first thing Thursday morning from
Jason, I'll see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.